All right, y'all. First and foremost, give all praise to you. How about Shem Yahweh Shai Brakatham and giving sincere greeting to the brothers and sisters scattered across the four corners, teaching his word with sincerity and charity. All right, we're going to be real brief with this thing today. We're going to be very brief. We got class. We got Tuesday class later today at 7:30 on Bring It Out TV. But I just wanted to deal with, man, you know, I seen this video and seen Berean talking about, I seen this smart Christian dude talking about this dude, Matt Chandler. I have no idea who this dude is, but he has a video that he's doing. He had a video that he uploaded showing that you know, he's having to step down. So we're gonna look at this video and I asked, man, does the church reprove, does the church correct more than Israel? You know what I'm saying? So we can watch this video real quick. And like I said, we're not gonna be here long. Do we got volume?
It's harder seeing you.
Okay, we do have value.
Several months ago, a woman approached me outside here in the foyer. She had some concerns for how I was
fair use
on Instagram with a friend of hers.
Fair use.
I didn't think I had done anything wrong in that. My wife knew that. Her husband knew that. And yet there were a couple of things that she said that were disorienting to me. And so I immediately came into the room. I found Chairman of the Elder Boards, Jason Swords, found Josh Patterson, other lead pastor, and said, this is what this person just told me. And then I went home. Lauren went with me that night. I told Lauren, this is what was said to me.
I know he's talking real fast, but what he's saying is that, you know, him, you know, he's a head pastor. Well, I don't know if he's a head pastor, but I think he's one of the head pastors. He was having a discussion with somebody on Instagram. I'm just telling y'all the story. You know, it's kind of hard to listen, you know, what he's saying. Keep on going with what he's saying. But he was having a discussion with somebody on Instagram. One of the church members found out, and said, you know, it brought offense to her. You know what I'm saying? It just pretty much letting him know that, hey, man, you know, that thing may be a little bit out of bounds, that conversation you having with this sister, knowing that you are married, you know what I'm saying? And that woman's husband was also there. And once that came up, he goes to the leadership, the elders of the church, and he shows them his phone. I might be a little ahead of myself with that, but this is
tonight. From there, the elders began to look into, because that's what they're supposed to do. Because we cannot be a church where anyone is above the scriptures and above the high heavenly call into Christ Jesus. And so they looked into the conversation between me and this other woman, and they had some concerns. And those concerns were not that our messaging was romantic or sexual. It was that our conversations were unguarded and unwise. And because I don't ever want there to be secrets between us.
Now he said that the conversation was not sexual. Okay, it wasn't sexual. But it was unwise. This is what the elders are saying. Okay, it wasn't sexual, but it's unwise because it's not guarded. Okay, this is a conversation that just you and this individual is having. And you as leadership, you as leader, you as a bishop, you as a deacon, you as a steward or overseer, you can't be having these private conversations with these individuals unguarded, where there's not another person there. It's not wise. And a lot of these things happen, man. There's a lot of stuff that can happen where people can go back in that back room, or you can be giving somebody some counsel at a school by themselves. Or I done been in the room with a sister by herself, and you know, I was like, you know what, man, I can't do this no more. I gotta make sure there's somebody here, because she can go out and say, oh well, you know, Phineas raped me, or Phineas did this, or tried to touch me inappropriately, or something, like, you know, anything can spur out of that. Now, all praises, you know, it didn't go there. You know, it wasn't no, you know, I always guard myself from a lot of that conversations and a lot of those, you know what I'm saying? I don't even play the games with it, to be 100, but, and that's because I know how simple, you can fall into the snares of the devil, man. You can fall into those snares. So, you know, so it's wise. And I heard I heard an Old Testament only dude tell me that one time that, it was like the Kabbalah was telling them to they could never be in a room just a single man and a married woman, or a single woman and a single man, whatever. They couldn't be in the room by themselves. It should never be like that. It should always be the children need to be there. Somebody else needs to be there. With y'all just sitting up there talking with each other. Like you can't be doing that. But the church here, we see this particular church. All churches ain't like this. I want to say most churches aren't like this. But they said, man, it was unwise what you were doing. It wasn't nothing sexual there, and we can't only take his word for it. Wasn't nothing sexual there, and wasn't nothing inappropriate, but it's just that it's unguarded, and it's a little too friendly.
The concerns were really about frequency and familiarity. We believe in brother-sister relationships here, and yet there was a frequency that moved past that, and there was a familiarity that played itself out in coarse and foolish joking. It's unbefitting of someone in my position as.
And that's the thing too, man. It should be. Everybody want to be close to leadership, man. Everybody wants to be close to leadership. Everybody wants to just be a little slightly closer than the next person, or slightly closer to leadership than the next sister. Sister's trying to invite you over, you leadership, and she want to invite you over for a private dinner. That's unwise. I don't care if you don't, you're not really attracted to the sister or whatever. She invites you to dinner. No, that's unwise for you to go to that sister's house and eat dinner and leave. Even if you go over there, it's unwise for you to do that. All right, it's inappropriate as leadership. And we got to start drawing these lines. These lines got to start getting drawn, man. And so this is a great video, a great opportunity for us to have these discussions, man. Make sure y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit some comments in there, man. Put some comments. What do you think about that, man? Is it inappropriate? Should this man have stepped down? He just had some text messaging, some direct messaging on Instagram. He shouldn't even be doing that. All right? Not as a married man. Shouldn't be doing them direct messages and going back and forth with these folk, man, and it's unguarded, and your wife don't know, and your wife, you know what I'm saying? And y'all making these little jokes and hee ha ha's, and and for that sister to know, for the other church member to know, she might be saying like, it might have came to her, and it's only speculation. It could have came to her as, I'm really digging Pastor Chandler over there. And she knows that, and she's showing her the messages like, yeah, we've been going back and forth. We been getting a little closer and friendlier and da 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 da. And she knows that the member knows that pastor is married. So it's like, man, wait a minute, man. This thing getting a little too crazy. So he had to bring the leadership. Leadership says it's unwise. Let's see what the judgment is.
A lead pastor, and as an elder, I'm held to a higher standard and fell short of that higher standard. So the elders have decided, and I think they're right, that my inability to see what I was in probably has revealing some unhealth in me. And I don't know if that's tied to the pace I run or the difficulty of the last 6-7 years, but I agree with them. And so in their grace to me and my family, they've decided, and again, I think they're right, to put me on a leave of absence, starting immediately from preaching and teaching at the village church. If I'm on, I'm just really embarrassed.
I commend him. My hat's off to him.
I ain't even finna let Berean get it yet, but he commends him. You know what I'm saying? And Berean ends up going on this rant about these other churches, man, and how these churches, like your what's that boy name, man? What's the boy name, man? What's that brother's name? What's that pastor's name? The one that bought his Lamborghini, bought his wife a Lamborghini. Heavy set dude. I forget his name. But pastor's been sleeping around, man, doing all kind of crazy stuff, and then be up there be up there sleeping. Be back up there still preaching, man. Nobody can say anything to him. And because a lot of times back in those days, man, the pastor did own the church. We in a new age now where, these churches aren't really getting built up by the pastor. All right. When a pastor put his name down there on that, and that's his church solely, and he built that thing up from the ground up, from his living room to the storefront to the building to the bigger building to the bigger building. Yeah, you ain't gonna be able to get them out of there. But the way these new churches are, and you got a whole a whole board, whole commission board, whole board of elders. You got 12 to 20 people and put their name and sign their name on this document to be responsible for this church financially. And it's institutionalized like that, and it's a systematic like that. They can vote you out of there, man, and get another pastor in there. You know what I'm saying? And they develop pastors to for those things to happen. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, he comes out openly and does this. And I said, I named it, does the church have more reproof? Because I've seen this happen in Israel. I've seen where brothers are in Israel and they done got caught up in some mess, and the elders give them a judgment and tell them to step down, and they say, lie. They say, no, we ain't stepping down. We ain't stepping down, and it's done in private. You know what I'm saying? But this dude took the leadership. The leadership told him he got to step down. He steps down. He steps down, man. And that's the thing with Israel, man. And that's why we have a lot of camp hurt. That's why we have brothers. I done seen situations where the elders told him to step down. He went and started another camp. You know what I'm saying? This is why we have so many different camps. Brothers teaching the same thing. Brothers under the same tutelage, but the same ideology. But it's sin has crept in. Brothers gave a judgment, and brothers couldn't accept the judgment, and when it started their own, and then cause a divide or a drift within the body. And these things never really get swallowed out, man. These things never get hollowed out, and these things never be brought to the forefront. You know what I'm saying? So other people don't know. You know what I'm saying? Other people don't know that the leadership done had 3 or 4 wives, done divorced 3 or 4 wives, or that the leadership is married to somebody else's wife. You don't know that, because these things weren't brought out to the forefront. But this brother here, this Christian church pastor was only text messaging, nothing inappropriate, but just the familiarity, just being too friendly, cost him his job, cost him his leadership. And we all know the 1 Timothy 3, man. The bishop got to be blameless, so forth, so forth. I ain't gonna go through that. You know what I'm saying, with Israel, man. We know, where our overseers need to be. And it brought up a lot of different other questions that came within those discussions of is it okay to smoke? Is it okay for pastors to be inside of clubs, inside of bars? Is it okay for, and most churches are gonna be like, nah, man. We can't see them in that arena. But you do have, a lot of these black pastors, especially these black pastors, you do have them out here in these clubs. And they doing these things openly, man. I seen a revival at a cigar lounge. I seen a revival at a cigar lounge for these pastors, man. And Jokers was promoting this mess. You know what I'm saying? So, and we seen, what's that boy down there at New Birth in Lithonia? Bishop Jamal Bryant, who took over for Eddie Long. He was in a bar. Now he got a little bite back from it, but he just hired. He left a mega church and still has the mega church, just had somebody else over it, and then came over and make $2 to $5 million a year to pastor New Birth. So he's just an employee of New Birth, but he don't mind going back to his old church and pastoring there. He's still over that church that he built there for himself. So, it's a lot of politics in these things, man. It's a lot of things, you have strong leaders, strong people in Israel that, won't accept the correction, won't accept the rebuke. They can go and start something else. They can go do something else. Or people just ain't going, people will just forgive them, and then, people get offended. And so in that situation where that sister came to that leader, he came to the pastor and said, listen, I know that you're texting and going having this discussion with this other person. I know you having this discussion with this other person. You done bring an offense. He immediately goes to leadership to get judged. And leadership says you got to step down from the church. And it wasn't a step down from the church, but it was like a, they gave him leave, man. You need to sit down. And even in the situation I was talking about with leaderships in Israel, it was more of a step down for a period of time, just to get yourself together, man. To understand that you sin, and then, to show that you got a repentant spirit to the people. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, man, people don't know that everybody fall, man. People fall victim to certain things. But the very important part of this is that the familiarity, with leadership. Everybody want to get close. Everybody want to get the leadership private number. Everybody want Naquan private number. Want Zabak private number. Want Bishop Nathaniel private number. They want to call them, and vice versa. So if leadership is asking you for your number and calling you on in inappropriate hours and y'all having these familiar conversations, man, you got to bring that to the forefront. You got to bring that to the forefront, and this thing got to be it's got to be an open rebuke or open reproof, man, so that all Israel will know. But we don't want to do that, man. And so we hike these people up. We hike, and just like that brother was saying, man, no one can be above reproof. No one can be above this thing, man. You should be above it, meaning nobody can bring you up on these charges as a leader. But when charges come, man, you gotta, and you found guilty, man, you gotta be able to have a chin for reproof and correction, and not run from it, man. You know what I'm saying? We all battling things, man, and but as a leader, you gotta have a great hold on that thing, man, and understand that you can't be familiar with these folks like that, man. You can't have sisters calling you every day, man. I don't have no sisters calling me. You know what I'm saying? I don't play. I don't play with that, man. I don't tempt the spirit, man. You know what I'm saying? You can fall into these snares, and before you know it, y'all sending, because that inappropriate messaging, it could be them googly eyes, man. I still don't know what them emojis mean, man. Somebody send you them emoji faces with the hearts on it. That's inappropriate, man. Now, maybe I could be wrong, because, again, I don't understand that language. I don't understand that. I don't fully understand what the blush face mean and the eyes mean, or somebody send you a heart. Does that really mean that? But either way it go, man, as leadership, especially if you are married, you can't be having no conversation. You can't be sending no hearts, emojis, and all of that stuff, and throwing the little emoji kisses and stuff. Like, you can't be doing that. Especially if you married, man. Especially if you married. So that's all I wanted to deal with, y'all, is just showing that reproof that, some of these, this pastor got corrected on these things. And again, I've seen these things plague Israel, where women are getting put away and brothers still in leadership. Brothers are getting all kind of charges placed on them. Found guilty of it, and brothers don't want the judgment, don't want the correction, and they still in leadership. You know what I'm saying? And we don't see the correction. Like, just think about it, Israel. When have you seen the correction? When have you seen, besides IUIC? I've seen bishops. I've seen, I don't know how I hit my Facebook thread, but I've seen bishops. Hey, this bishop did this. He has been sat down. Or this deacon has done this. He's no longer in IUIC. And we gotta have more of that. You know what I'm saying? Because brothers be jumping from camp to camp to camp to camp. You don't know why they left. They telling you got one side of the story. We ain't never going back to the camp and saying, well, why he left, man? What happened? Brother done tossed the sister out. We ain't never talking to the sister. We just got brothers coming to us telling us, hey, man, the sister was da-da-da-da-da-da, man. All these women just crazy, man, and just running, rapping, and da-da-da-da-da. We got to get them together, man. But we ain't never hearing the side of the sisters. We ain't never hearing why they left. So we got to do better with the correction and the reproof, man. This is an example. And except IUIC, man, I see I do see IUIC doing it, man. You know, and they will put you out in the forefront, and they will put you out in front of the class, and they will say, "Hey, man, we caught you doing A, B, C, D, man. You know, these sisters come up there, but we need more of that. We need more of that, and that's why a lot of folks leave IUIC and say, man, I miss a cult. I don't want nobody registering my life and da 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 da. Man, people investing in you, man. You know, people feeding the sheep, man. People spending their time trying to teach you, spending their time and energy counseling y'all. Man, that stuff ain't free. You know what I'm saying? You benefiting from it, and ain't nobody charging you for it. But man, people charge. My dad are doing psychiatrist. They charge $100 an hour. Y'all can spend countless hours with y'all, man, counseling y'all, teaching y'all. You know what I'm saying? Trying to build, you know what I'm saying, the body up in the spirit, man. And not charging nothing. And then you go back and say, I don't want nobody controlling my life and da 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 da. And then that stuff comes back on leadership. You do something stupid out there, it comes back to leadership. All right? Somebody do something crazy and now I see it comes back to Bishop and they think, well, why you let that girl die? Like, come on, man. So we got to be mindful. We got to get more into the correction, man. And it got to be open, man. You know, brothers out here making videos. What's that brother made that documentary? He made that documentary, and yeah, you made the documentary, bro. Where was the correction before that, man? You know, you've been out this thing maybe a year or so. Where was the correction before then? You know, with all this stuff going on, where was the correction? Where was the open rebuke then, man? You know, you making a video now it's like, man, these folks done moved on and did that thing, and they still in positions and so forth, man. And we need to hear both sides. You can't just get one side of the story. But anyway, y'all, I hope this thing was edifying to the body, man. Hope y'all got something out of this thing. Again, man, class will be at on Bring It Out TV at 7:00, and we'll be back here tomorrow at 7:30. I'll be going over the whole Tamar and Judah. We're gonna be looking at that story. Trying to just get back to some of these stories, man, and take some of the moral principles, glean some of the moral principles out of these stories. And to understand that, there's some things that are described in the text that aren't necessarily prescribed in the text. You know what I'm saying? Judah sleeping with a prostitute don't mean that we can sleep with prostitutes. All right. It does not mean that, oh, man, ain't no law against prostitutes. We can sleep with the prostitute. Come on now. And these things being brought out here. And then jokers out here sleeping with prostitutes. Ain't no correction. And when the correction go out, it need to be loud, because another brother's going to bring that brother into his organization, and he's not even going to know what kind of foolishness, what kind of mess that he done got himself into, because wasn't no correction. It was correction, but he left. He didn't receive the correction. He just got up and left. And that's a lot of times what happens with individuals. And it's very rare that a brother take correction, man. That's a humble spirit brother who can take some correction and stay in that body and don't have no remorse about it. Understand that, you know what, man, I was wrong. I take that on the chin, and you know what I'm saying? And you bring that brother back in, you lift that brother up. You know what I'm saying? But you got to have a repentant spirit. You can't be out here doing wickedness and then, expect some years to go by and you ain't never repented. And then you just come back and just try to dap everybody up and, shalom and kwam yasharala everybody. And you get back in the body, man. You know what I'm saying? Open rebuke, open reproof. This brother had to go out here and give an open testimony that, yeah, man, I screwed up. And it wasn't the elders that came out and said it. It was him. And, they made a judgment. The judgment was correct. And I'm stepping down. All right. They showed me mercy. I'm grateful for that. And I'm stepping down. All right. With that, I say shalom, y'all. Y'all be blessed. We'll see y'all a little later at around 7:30, man. All right. Shalom.